Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. It's lovely to see so many people here today. My name is Dale. I'm a lecturer in learning disability nursing at Keele University, and I was the project lead for UCAN. I would like to introduce our chair. Our chair is Professor Naomi Shiner, who is standing in for Dr. Liz Herivan, who is unfortunately is unable to join us today. Thank you, Naomi, for chairing our UCAN launch event today.
Thank you very much, Dale. Welcome everyone to this launch for careLeD, the exciting new tool that has been co-produced with people with learning disabilities for people with learning disabilities. I am Professor Naomi Shiner. I'm a diagnostic radiographer by background, and I work at Keele University as Faculty Director for Simulation. I also have a daughter with Down syndrome, so I'm very excited about what I'm about to hear. To start with, we have a packed agenda, so do bear with me 1 second. We have our keynote speech by Tommy Jessup. Tommy will highlight some of the challenges that people with learning disabilities often face when trying to access care when they are unwell. Next, independent advisor and consultant nurse Gwen Mulster, OBE, will give us an overview of the overall UCAN project. She will talk about the co-production of the new careLeD tool, informed by early stages of the UCAN project. Following Gwen, we have a video showing us the new careLeD tool, which includes interactive content and educational resources to help those with a learning disability more easily access urgent and emergency care. Then we will have a video from some of the UCAN team and co-producers talking about being involved in the project. And next we will have Deepa Courier, RCN Foundation Director, talking about the RCN Foundation's aspirations to improve outcomes for people with learning disabilities and the projects they are funding. Then lastly, but definitely not least, we will have a chance for you to ask the questions about the new tool. Plus, as a bonus, we will also be letting you know how to take part in the UCAN evaluation and perhaps even win £50 voucher. So it's very exciting. I'm going to start first then with introducing our keynote speaker, Tommy Jessup. Tommy is a AAA. He is an actor, author and activist. He is the first actor with Down syndrome to star in primetime BBC drama, the first professional actor with Down syndrome to tour theatres as Hamlet, and the first to become a full voting member of BAFTA. In 2021, he was awarded an honorary Doctor of Arts by the University of Winchester. He is also ambassador of MenCap, Learning Disabilities Nursing, and a patron of the National Down Syndrome Policy Group. His book, A Life Worth Living, offers a fascinating insight into the challenges life can throw at us. His children's book, Tommy's Time to Shine, was recently also published. His activism focuses on campaigns to improve people's rights, and he was a key figure in driving forward the introduction of the Down Syndrome Act in 2022. Thank you, Tommy, for joining us at the launch of the event today.
Well, hello there to one and all, and thank you, Liz, for that really reassuring introduction, and I also do hope that all of you are enjoying and overcoming the heat in the second heat wave. Yes, and I am really pleased to support this new UCAN tool. It will really help us to get the right emergency healthcare for ourselves and for other people we care about. if something happens to them, because it is really important we make it really easy and simple for all of us to get urgent and emergency healthcare. But first, I haven't been asked to tell you a little about myself and about some of the challenges people with learning disabilities can face. My story is all to do with making choices in life and people really listening to you. When I said I wanted to be an actor, only one person listened, not my parents. My first play was about making choices in life and getting parents to listen. My first TV role was with Nicholas Holt in coming down the mountain, which is a 90-minute BBC drama, which was nominated for a BAFTA award. Well, those parents didn't listen to my caricature either, and my role in the whole the city was also about making our own choices, and well, some of my most exciting filming so far has been Line of Duty and Masters of the Air. for my films and TV work, I have learnt how to box and fish and played quite a champion darts player and a football fan, and yes, and also drinking some bleach and being thrown off a mountain, and last, and by no means being drowned in a lake. And this goes on. Being blown up in a hospital and suffering hate crime and tattooing, and my personal highlight is learning how to sword fight as well. And it's the toughest thing is being rejected after a really a successful audition, when the director wants to cast me, but those higher up people say no. Well, maybe that is because I have Down syndrome, or maybe not. But being labelled is also quite provoking. Some people can dismiss or ignoring us, all because of the label Down syndrome. They do not see us who we truly are, or what we are truly capable of. So, I have been trying to make a difference through my work and also my books, and also through campaigning for the Down Syndrome Act, with speeches at receptions in Parliament and Downing Street and the US embassy. Please check out the guides when it is being published. It should be really helpful, and another campaign was my panorama investigation for the BBC, and yes, I found that some people in healthcare do not look at our symptoms, just our syndrome. Then they get things wrong, and some people might also think that we are a nuisance if we try to explain. Well, and some people with a learning disability has died too soon because they did not get the right help at the right time. Just remember, we really do love our lives, and yes, and the main reason why I can do these things is because I have help from people who do listen. Lots of us now live independently, which is great. But if we are ill or being worried about someone else who is also really ill, or when the surgery is closed. So, what do we do? We do not know who to call. Well, hopefully, the new UCAN tool will really help us to know what to do. Well, thank you to everyone being involved in the UCAN project. Well, and let's do make sure we really will tell our friends. Well, sorry, I can't stay much longer. I'm off filming to Italy. That's enough. Thank you, and goodbye.
Well, many thanks, Tommy. That was a very lovely introduction keynote to setting the scene for our unveiling of the tool. He's got a lots of wonderful experiences there to share, and I could see the appreciation for that within the chat as well. Next, we have our UCAN team member, Gwen Molster, to tell us about the UCAN project and the team who've worked really well together to launch the careLeD tool today. Gwen was awarded an OBE in 2016 for services to people with learning disabilities in nursing, and she worked on many projects to improve the quality of health experiences and outcomes. Notably, she is one of the 4 consultant nurses who've created the Health Equalities Framework. Over to you, Gwen.
Thank you, Naomi. Okay, so it's over to me to tell you a little bit about the UCAN project. It all started when a group of us got together to put in a bid for some money from the RCN Foundation to do some research to help people with learning disabilities understand urgent and emergency care. We came up with the name UCAN, which meant Urgent Care Access Now, for our project. We were really excited when the bid was successful. The RCN project agreed to fund the UCAN project. UCAN is not the name of the tool you'll hear about today, because we wanted this to be decided in consultation with people with lived experience. Because we know people with learning disabilities sometimes don't know what to do in an emergency health situation, we were pleased to be asked to do this research. I'm going to say a little bit about health inequalities, because that one of the things they asked us to do was to look at health inequalities and the impact of that. Health inequalities are unfair, and they're avoidable differences in health. They affect how long people are likely to live, the health conditions that they might experience. They impact on disabilities, and they impact on the care that's available to people. The conditions in which we were born or grow up or live, and where we work and get older, can all impact on our health and well-being. And those issues are often linked together. So, for example, if someone doesn't have a job or meaningful things to do during the day, they may not have much money or much help, and they're more likely to live in poorer housing or with less access to green space like gardens and parks, and less access to fresh, healthy food. And this means that some groups and communities are more likely to experience poorer health than the rest of us. These groups are also more likely to experience challenges in accessing healthcare. Health outcomes are those changes in the health of a person or a group or even a population that come about as a result of a planned intervention or an event or a treatment. So, for example, if you're unwell and the doctor prescribes medication to help you, we can measure the difference the medication has made, and that difference is the health outcome. Another example of a health outcome, perhaps for a population, is we've seen a big reduction in the number of people who need treatment for smoking-related illness since smoking was banned in public places. We wanted to find a way of improving understanding so people with learning disabilities would be more likely to get the help they need in a timely way with good health outcomes. The RCN Foundation asked us to think about developing a tool or a resource that would help people with lived experience know who to call at night time or at the weekend when they couldn't actually ask their own doctor or the pharmacist for help with an urgent or emergency health problem. The UCAN team is made up of 5 consultant learning disability nurses from the 4 UK countries, so we're from all over. And we've also got 3 academics from Keele University in Staffordshire. We worked really closely in partnership with our colleagues who have lived experience of learning disabilities and who are also from the 4 UK countries. I'm thinking some of them might be here today. The project has involved a range of activities so far. So we've undertaken a review of the literature. So we've looked at all the things that people have written about what other people have been doing to help people with learning disabilities understand urgent and emergency care. We set up an expert panel, and that included carers, family members, advocates, learning disability nurses, and they helped us to design our interview and focus group questions and surveys by commenting on our ideas. We held interviews with people with learning disabilities, but in particular those who had recently accessed urgent and emergency care, so they could tell us about their recent experiences. And we held focus groups with people with learning disabilities so they could help co-design the new tool. We identified local helpful information for each country and developed supporting activities for those using the new tool. And we held a consultation with health and social care professionals on their views about the tool. We're so grateful to our colleagues with lived experience. They gave us so much advice and support, I can't even tell you. We learned so much from you in this process. There is already a lot of help available to people, so nothing you do is a new thing completely. And we in the UCAN team are really grateful for all that work that already exists, especially some of the work that's been done by local ambulance trusts. The careLeD tool has been designed to have a UK-wide presence with a consistent message and to help people to know where to go to find the excellent existing resources and tools that are available. We think learning about what to do in a safe place is important, and we've developed information and activities that people can use on their own or with help. Guidance is included for people who help, for facilitators and helpers, about the importance of confidentiality, because this was very important to our colleagues with lived experience. They want to make sure that if people do things in group, information is shared privately and not discussed with anyone outside the group. So our guidance ensures a safe and trusting environment where members feel comfortable sharing their own personal experiences and can participate openly. We all know that making decisions can be difficult, especially if we're ill or someone we care about is ill. And for that reason, this tool has been designed to help people prepare and be ready. So if they need help with a health emergency in the future, they will know what to do. We wanted to make a tool that allowed people to get involved. So the careLeD tools are presentations which include buttons to press to answer questions and to control the slideshow at their own pace. It includes videos and links to helpful information and lots of activities. We found out that people wanted to know how to help others and not just themselves. So we created 2 versions. We worked closely with a design company to create the tools. We'd like to thank Easy on the Eye, who gave us permission to use their pictures and made new pictures for calling 111 and 999 so that we could use those in the tool. So what's next? We will continue working on the tool. We're sure that there's going to be lots of ideas and thoughts that come out of today, and so the tool isn't quite finished yet. And we're going to send out information about the project to lots of people. We're going to do it through the press and online, and of course through our own networks and all the people we know. And hopefully you'll tell people about it too after today. We'll be looking at all the information we've got and analysing and evaluating it. So checking what's there and really working out what it all means so we can write about the project and share that with other people. More information will be available on the Keele website, and we also hope to be able to set up a new website for careLeD. Thanks to Coffee Design for helping to bring our ideas to life. So let's take a look at the new careLeD tool.
Welcome to careLeD. careLeD is a brand new tool to help people with a learning disability access urgent and emergency health care. Let's take a look. To get started, click on the Start button. You will see at the top of every page that there are buttons to help you go back. Or to start again. In the first PDF you will find information about helping yourself. Click on the Next button to go to the next page. Let's start with urgent care. What is an urgent health need? When should you call 111? Let's find out. An urgent health need is an illness or injury that needs attention quickly, but is not life-threatening. Here are some examples. Next, we'll find out about emergency care. What is an emergency health need? When should you call 999? An emergency is a life-threatening condition or injury that needs treatment as soon as possible. This might be a heart attack or a bad car accident. Next, we'll take a look at some stories. Let's start with Mohammed. Mohammed has had an accident. He slipped and his arm went into the open fire. He is in severe pain. What should he do? Let's click Next for the options. Now we need to choose whether a bad burn means that we should call 111 or 999. Also, there is an option for if we are not sure. If we click on the Unsure button, we get a hint. Let's go back. If we get the answer wrong, we will get a hint. Let's go back. If we get the question right, we can move on to the next story. Because it was a bad burn, Mohammed needed to go to hospital for treatment. The nurses and doctors were able to help him get better. Let's take a look at Olivia's story. This time we can watch the video by clicking on the Watch button. Or on the picture.
I want to tell you my story about using emergency care. This is what happened. I was watching Bake Off. It's my favourite show. I started to feel breathless, and so I took my inhaler and I got my emergency bag. I had to look at my list of things to do in a health emergency. I thought I had better ring.
During the video we will be asked if Olivia should call 111 or 999, or if we're unsure. There are more stories to help you learn about who to call. There is also a summary of what to do, and also how to ask for extra help. Let's take a look at one of the activities. Let's look at creating a social story. Click on the picture. The link takes you through to the helper or facilitator guidance and presentation slides. careLeD also has an editable social story template. As well as creating a social story, there are many other activities. You will also find links to resources. In the second PDF, you will find information about helping others. Let's learn more about helping others. Click on the Start button. The second PDF is laid out in the same way, with some information to start. Let's look at Christine and Dylan's story. Christine and Dylan are playing rugby. Oh no, they've bumped heads. Christine is really hurt and now she won't wake up. What should Dylan do? Should he call 111 or 999? Dylan is not sure. Christine has badly hurt her head. Let's try 999. We have chosen the correct answer. The ambulance arrived quickly, and Christine had to go to hospital for a few hours. Next, we'll take a look at Alex's story. Alex is unwell. They feel hot and cold and can't sleep. They keep sneezing and they are anxious. Who should Alex's dad phone? Should he call 111 or 999? He rings 111 and gets an appointment at the local pharmacist. Alex gets some medicine and feels much better. What do we do if someone has an urgent or emergency health need? If you're not sure, get help straight away. Call 999 if it's an emergency. Call 111 if it's urgent. Try to speak slowly and clearly. This can be hard to do. So don't forget to ask for extra help. Let the person you're speaking to know that you are trying to help someone else. Here is the activities page. Let's look at the certificate activity. Once we have completed the activities, we can print out our certificate and add our name. There's lots to do with the careLeD tool. It will help you prepare in advance to get access to urgent or emergency care when you or someone else is unwell. Let's go back to the start page. On the right-hand side of the page, you will see information for helpers or facilitators. Click on the button to open the Facilitator's Guide. The guide has an overview for helpers of the tool and activities. To sum up, careLeD is a tool to help people with learning access urgent and emergency care. You can use the tool and activities in groups or in one-to-one sessions. The careLeD tool is made up of 2 parts: helping yourself and helping others. We've taken a quick look at both today, but you can take as much time as you need. You can use the careLeD tool online or offline, with or without support. Thank you for joining us today to learn about careLeD. You can access the careLeD tool by visiting careled.info.
Wow, thank you so much, Gwen, for taking us through the tool. We're now going to hear from some of the people that have helped bring that new tool to life. So we have another video for you, I believe.
Hi, my name is Kerry Anderson and I'm a nurse consultant in learning disabilities from NHS Grampian in Scotland. I have been a co-investigator within the UCAN team and have supported the project by carrying out interviews with people with learning disabilities, participating in our focus group sessions and creating some of the activities for the careLeD tool. I've enjoyed meeting people with learning disabilities as part of the interviews to understand more about some of the barriers people face when calling urgent and emergency care, but also to hear examples of when outcomes have been positive. I hope that the careLeD tool, which has been co-produced, can support people with learning disabilities to understand more about when to call urgent or emergency care and what happens when you do. I also hope that it will give people the confidence to ask for extra help and reasonable adjustments, such as letting them know they have a learning disability, to slow down and use easy to understand words when calling for urgent or emergency care. I've thoroughly enjoyed taking part in the project, working in collaboration across the 4 countries, but more importantly, the importance of co-production, listening, sharing and learning from each other.
So thank you for taking part today. Can we ask you some questions for the launch? So what is your name?
Well,
And what has it been like taking part in the project?
no,
You're all right with it? What's been good about it?
everything.
What's everything?
What? Does everything?
Okay. And what role did you play?
Everything.
Which role did you play?
Painting.
You're a patient, weren't you? Your name was Olivia Smith, wasn't it?
Smith.
Yeah. And you had 2 conditions today. One was with your
Both.
throat, and the other one was with your chest. Yeah. And the one for your throat was the urgent one, which was 111, and the emergency one was
Wills.
999,
No.
which was your chest. Okay. But yeah, so did some great work today, didn't you? Being the patient. Yeah. So these videos and the tool that we're making, do you think it will help you and your friends in the future?
You will.
It will. Yeah, I think it will as well. And what was the hardest part of today?
Nothing really.
Nothing really.
No.
Not even
No.
trying to stop laughing
Oh wow.
and being serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And have you enjoyed the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for taking the time to help us with this as well. We've really enjoyed having you with us today. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Michelle Kern, consultant nurse for learning disabilities in the Belfast Health and Social Care Trust. It's been a privilege to contribute to this project, working alongside consultant nurse colleagues from across the UK and academic partners from Keele University. My role was to represent Northern Ireland and to ensure the voices of people with a learning disability here were heard and reflected throughout the work. I particularly valued taking part in the focus groups and facilitating one-to-one interviews. It was a real honour to listen and learn from people's experiences. Professionally, this project has been a hugely positive experience. It's given me the opportunity to collaborate with peers across the UK, learn from different approaches, and reflect on my own practice. It reminded me how important it is to share knowledge and work collaboratively to improve outcomes for people we support.
Hello, my name is Jessica Lister and I'm a consultant nurse for learning disabilities at North Staffordshire Combined Healthcare Trust. Like my UCAN colleagues, I first became involved in the project when we were planning our application to the RCN Foundation for the grant that was needed to make this project possible. We were all really delighted when we found out that we'd been successful, as we believed even back then in just how important this project is. One of my roles in the project has been to meet with people with the lived experience of a learning disability who were living in England and who had access to urgent and emergency care services. These interviews meant that people could share their experiences on a one-to-one basis. In the interviews, we talked about the individual's experiences, the things that were positive and the things that were not so good, and also their ideas that would help others in the future to have a better experience. I also work with colleagues to hold focus groups, and this is where we spoke to individuals with a learning disability from across the UK as a group about their experiences and ideas. For me, it was these interviews and focus groups that were the most important part of the study, as people with learning disabilities were able to bring real-world experiences and their unique insights and creative ideas to the project. Without them, we wouldn't have considered all of the important points that have helped to shape and create the tools that were later developed. I'm really proud of the tools that we have developed, as they use real-life experience to tackle real-life problems and include people's top tips in helping to make accessing urgent and emergency care services as easy as possible.
Okay, thank you for taking part in the project.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Jackie.
Thank you. Hi, Jackie. And what was it like taking part in our project?
Okay, great. Fantastic.
Good. And what role did you play?
I played the voice-over of the person who's in the video.
Yeah, that's great. You did. And do you think that the tool that we've made during this project will help you and your friends?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the trickiest part of today?
Something I've never done before, so it was a bit strange, but it was good.
Good. And did you enjoy helping out?
Yes, I sure did.
Okay. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Neil James and I am a learning disability consultant nurse and work for Swansea Bay University Health Board, which is in South Wales. Like other members of the team, I had a few roles to play as part of supporting this project and what it has developed. This included helping with the planning of what things we were going to do in order to co-produce a tool that would be accessible and helpful to people with a learning disability in supporting them access urgent and emergency care when they needed to. These roles included collecting information from people with a learning disability by listening to their experiences of accessing urgent and emergency care, and we asked them what they thought would help make these services easier to access for other people with a learning disability. After collecting this information, I worked with Gwen, another project team member, to review what people had told us and to think about how this could be used to inform the tool that was developed. It has been really great taking part in this project, as it has allowed me to spend time with people with a learning disability to get a better understanding of what it can be like for them accessing urgent and emergency care. During the focus group meetings, it was very interesting listening to people's really helpful ideas and thoughts about what could help people with a learning disability prepare and access urgent and emergency care. This has been a co-produced tool inspired by people with lived experience. Importantly, I do hope and think that the new tool will be helpful to a lot of people and will support them to access urgent and emergency care in the future should they need to. It provides them with information about what to expect if you contact urgent emergency care and how to make some plans in case you need to go to hospital. This project has reinforced for me the importance of co-production and making sure that people with a learning disability have the opportunity to share their knowledge and ideas, because they really do inspire you to think differently. Thank you.
Wow, isn't that lovely to see so many people sharing their experiences in terms of helping with that UCAN project? I'll give a shout out. I did like the thumbs up, Dale, with your people with lived experience. You'll see from that reel there was many more people involved, and due to time we haven't been able to hear from all of them, but I'm sure you will also be proud of the fantastic contribution that has been given towards the project. So moving forward, next over to Deepa Korea, we have Deepa is the director of the RCN Foundation. The RCN Foundation are an independent charity. They support and strengthen nursing and midwifery and provide research and innovation grants to help improve the health and well-being to the public. The RCN Foundation are the funder who have enabled the UCAN project to happen. Over to Deepa.
I'll share my screen with everyone, but just to say what a privilege it is to be here, to be able to talk to so many of you about the work of the foundation and about why we think it's so important to have supported and funded this piece of work. And what I hope that you will be able to see is that this is not just a one-off, but actually it's part of a much wider programme. Okay, so I'm Deepa. I'm the director of the RCN Foundation, so I have day-to-day responsibility for running the foundation, but I'm supported by a fantastic team, and a particular shout out to Dr. Sarah McGloin, who's the head of grants and impact, who's been sort of really the key liaison and driver for some of this work, so and for this particular project. So a bit about the foundation. Naomi, I know you said a few things, but just to reiterate, we're an independent charity. So we are part of the RCN group, which is the Royal College of Nursing. We work closely with them, but we are independent, and anybody who is a nurse or a midwife or a healthcare support worker can get support from us. They don't have to be members of the RCN, so that's the main thing. Our purpose is to support and strengthen nursing and midwifery to improve the health and well-being of public. We do that by giving out grants, and the money for those grants comes from individual from investments and charitable donations. So we're fundraising constantly to kind of raise more money so that we can put it into projects like this. We have a brilliant board of trustees, and it's chaired by Professor Dame Jane Cummings, who was previously the chief nurse for England, and who is a huge supporter of this work because she'd done some great work as in her time as the CNO in England around learning disability. So we've got a great board that is really supportive of this work and the impact that we hope to make. So the project is part of an overall programme called the Inclusive Health Programme, and that is about enhancing the lives of people with a learning disability. I'm not going to go into the background. All of you will probably be much, will probably know more than I about this. But we know the research around health inequalities, around earlier deaths. We know all of those issues. Those have been the main driver for developing this programme. Alongside that, we're really clear that learning disability nurses have a massively important role to play in supporting people with learning disability to live a full life. I mean, Tommy talked about enjoying his life. I mean, that's what we want at the end of the day. So that role of learning disability nurse is incredibly important. And it's something that hopefully through this programme we can support both sides. So we've committed to spend £300,000 over a 4-year period. Within that, there are 9 research studies, and we're also running alongside that an education programme for advanced practice learning in learning disability. You can find out more about all of that on our website, and the information will be at the end for you. So the aim of the programme is to enable RNLDs, so registered nurses with learning disability, to reduce health inequality and enhance health-related quality of life outcomes for people with a learning disability. It is very simple. I mean, that's what's needed, and that's what we're trying to do through our programme and the various projects that we're funding. So we want to build the evidence base underpinning learning disability nursing and midwifery. In so doing, we want to also reduce health inequality and premature death for people with learning disability. We're working right across the UK, and it was absolutely lovely to hear from colleagues in not just in England, but in Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland. I mean, how brilliant to have that collaboration, because we know this will then get the reach that it needs. But we also want to make sure that we enhance the knowledge, skills and competence of nurses and midwives caring for people with a learning disability through our education programme. So it's kind of investing in both, if you like, as well. We funded, I said, 9 research studies, or we will fund 9 research studies, but we are already funding a number of, and have funded a number of projects. So we, for example, London School of Economics have done something around have undertaken some research around the economic value of learning disability nursing. Liverpool John Moores have just been awarded a fund, the latest in our funding, for looking at the annual health check, because we know that now there are no longer targets for the annual health check, which means that we're going to start to see them not offered. And so I think that's something that we've really got to address. So this will hopefully provide some evidence about the impact of those. And there's some others there, and all of this you can find on our website. So where did this one come from? I mean, it sort of didn't come out of nowhere. In the work that when it was being developed, Sarah, who I talked about earlier, pulled together quite a lot of information about where the gaps were, what the needs were. That was all done in part of our ethos is co-production. So working with people with a learning disability, working with nursing and midwifery staff, and working with a range of other organisations and individuals, kind of really brought together information about, well, what's the picture? Where are the gaps? What could we usefully do to fill those gaps? And one of them was around, RNLDs working for the ambulance service, for NHS 111 and for NHS 24, reporting to us that people with learning disability experience difficulties when accessing urgent and emergency care. And so we were delighted to make the award to Keele. We know Keele's got a really strong reputation of working closely and alongside and in co-production with people with learning disability. So we're really pleased. I've been blown away by what I've been seeing and hearing and listening to. And so I hope that this also, as well as producing something really helpful as a tool, something that's really practical, because that's the focus for us. It's not just about research studies that sit on a shelf. It's about getting something that's evidence-based, producing something practical, and then getting into people's hands. But as well as doing that, I think this is also, for me, highlighted that actually a relatively small amount of money can make such a big impact. So I'm delighted that we've been able to fund this, and hopefully we'll build on it as we go forward. So that's all I'm going to say. Happy to take any questions if there's time, and just going to leave this up because it's the QR code, but also which will take you straight to the website, but also the website address for those of you who want to type it out. So I'm happy to circulate these slides later on through our colleagues at Keele. So I'm going to stop there.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Deepa, and to, of course, the RCN Foundation for supporting the launch of the event today. We're going to move on in a minute to questions, so I'm hoping you're able to stay around to potentially answer some. And I've just given everyone a heads up. We are going to move to question time, and we'd like to hear from yourselves. I know the chat's been particularly busy. We have got a short instructional video to listen to first whilst you get your thoughts together. So we'll move to that. Thank you.
Now it's time for questions and answers. To ask a question, you have two options. You can add your question to the chat. You will find the chat button at the top of your screen. It might look a bit different if you are on your mobile or tablet. Alternatively, you can ask your question in person. To do this, you will need to raise your hand. The Raise Hand button is usually at the top of your screen. It might look different if you are on your mobile or tablet. When it is your turn, you will need to unmute and turn on your camera, if you wish. You will find the buttons at the top of your screen. It might look different on your mobile or tablet. Now let's get to the questions.
That's a nice accessible video, isn't it? So I'm going to just start off with a question that came in, excuse me, ahead of today, whilst people have a think. But please do, as this video suggests, put your hand up. So just first off, if I could have somebody from the panel that we have present answer, what if someone's first language isn't English? Is the tool available in different languages? I think possibly Neil was looking to answer that.
Yes, Naomi, thank you.
Cheers.
So we are happy to share that the tool is going to be available in Welsh. And we have followed the accessible information standard making so that it's easy read. And we need to give a huge thanks to Nasser Mohammed from Easy on the Eye for supporting that process and development.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Neil. I'm going to, does anybody want to ask a question in person? I might take one from the chat if not. Right, they're coming in so fast I can't scroll up. Let's have a little look here. Here's a question, will there be a cost associated to accessing the tool? Anyone in particular want to take that question?
I'll answer, shall I?
Thank you, Gwen.
There won't be any specific costs related to using the tool. It will be freely available to people. So the only cost will be any costs that you have if you're providing tea and coffee or providing a venue to watch it or use it.
That's great. Gwen, can I ask you to stay on whilst I've got another question here?
Okay.
Is there support for anybody that may be struggling to use it?
Yeah, the tool is actually designed with helpers in mind. So some people will be able to use the tool on their own, but we think most people will probably want someone else to help them in some way. There are instructions for carers, friends, teachers, anybody that might be able to support. So if you get stuck, it's a really good idea to ask for help.
That's lovely, thank you. We do have, I think it's Mark Temperton, if you'd like to unmute and ask your question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So I've put this in the chat, but it may have got lost. So I was just wondering if any digital platforms have been approached about incorporating integrating this into a digital platform. We've just rolled out Nourish across our services. So I'm just seeing how it would fit in with that.
That's a good question. We'll wait and see who'd want to, from the UCAN project, answer that for us. Hi, Della, thank you.
Hi. Yes, we are considering a range of options for where the site will be, the tool itself will be hosted, and we're considering different options in terms of sites. And so the suggestion around Nourish is a good one. Thank you.
Excellent. And I think in terms of accessibility, I might ask another question with regards to other people having access to it. So will my GP surgery and the local hospital know about this tool? Because obviously it's a fantastic tool. We want to spread the word. Neil, are you able to help me with that one, please?
I can, Naomi. So yes, we are going to be sharing the tool and we have a communication plan to support us in doing that, to make sure that we let lots of people and as many people as we can know about the new tool and how it can be helpful for people in their area. So there is a plan for us to disseminate this and advertise it widely.
Thank you very much for that.
Naomi, can I just add to that?
You can, absolutely.
Just to say that when we, as a funder, one of the things that we're really keen on doing is making sure that anything that we fund that has this kind of practical outcome, it gets into the right hands and as many of the right hands as possible. So we'll be continuing to promote the tool as well, even after the funding has finished, and we'll make sure that we can try and liaise with you about how we do that and making sure we do it in the most effective way.
Perfect. That's what we need. We have Lloyd, I believe. Oh, no, sorry, carry on.
So I was just going to make reference to Lloyd has got his hand up. We can't see, so apologies, Lloyd. But yeah, it's over to you now, Lloyd, if you could ask your question.
Thank you. Oh, can you unmute, Lloyd? Just 1 minute. I can now see you, which is great. That's it.
I can't unmute. Oh, okay. My question is to DP. My understanding is of your presentation accessing information to the UCAN project. What? I mean, it could have been an easy read. And I couldn't understand it.
Yeah, thanks, Lloyd. No, absolutely. Thanks, Lloyd. Really good question. We can certainly talk to the team about that because, you know, I think that it has been developed in a way to try and make it as accessible as possible, and we can see that. But if we're still not managing to do that, then maybe we need to look at what else can be done. But we can take that back, Lloyd. And I know you're in touch with Sarah and our team. So yeah, so you know, we can always feed back to you. Yeah, brilliant. Is that okay, Naomi?
No, that's perfect. And thank you so much for that question, Lloyd. I think, as we've heard before, accessibility is going to be key with using the tool. So thank you for that. Can I go to John Watson?
Hello there. Thank you. It was just, I've been reading through all the resources on the website, like the facilitator guidance and things. Am I right in thinking that if sorry, I should have introduced, I'm a nurse in Hull, a learning disability nurse in Hull. If I wanted to use the resources to provide training for a cohort of people locally with a learning disability, would I be able to do that without any worries around copyright, or would I need my trust's permission, for example, to use, or would my trust need to sign up to use the resources that are available on the website?
Thank you very much, John. Gwen, you've popped up on camera?
Yeah, yes, you can use it. It's not signed, it's not assigned to any particular organisation or trust. Anybody can use it.
Brilliant. That's what
Excellent.
I thought. I just thought I'd check.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone can use it.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Wonderful. And we're going to move forward to Abdul Al-Bashir.
Yeah, so my question was how is it going to be accessible for people who have like a physical health condition and also like a mental health condition?
Okay, so how is it going to be accessible for those with a mental health condition? And just the first bit again, I missed it slightly.
And people with learning disabilities.
Learning difficulties, okay, and a mental health condition. So in terms of knowing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We shall see who would like to take that question for you. How are people with a learning disability and those with a mental health condition going to know about it in order to be able to use it? So it's about signposting.
Yeah, obviously that's a very difficult one because we are relying on other people to share the information and tell people about it. But because we've been working with people all the way from the beginning to give us advice, we'll be taking advice from them. We're talking to quite a lot of support groups or advocacy groups and getting the information out that way. So there are, I think there are some advocacy groups actually today on the call. So we're doing everything we can, and hopefully people like yourself, Abdul, you'll tell people about it too. That's what we want, to get a ripple effect so lots of people know about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's lovely. Thank you so much for that question, Abdul. I know I've already started sharing it with my Down syndrome groups whilst we've been learning about it. So I'm sure the message will get there. Thank you. We're going to move to Kate Gribben, if that's okay. Excuse me, Kate.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kate Gribben, lead nurse for contraception and sexual health in the Southern Trust in Northern Ireland. So the tool is very interesting. It looks great, but my question coming from where I sit is about the difficulty with accessing sexual health services for people with a learning disability, communication difficulties, and is there any thought of that being put into the tool, because that's something in Northern Ireland that we would be interested in reaching out to those people that are accessing our services, whether it be abortion services or contraception services. So it's just for consideration. I'm wondering.
Expanding it beyond the emergency aspect into other services.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Who
you.
would like to take that? Thank you for that, Kate.
Hi, Kate. I'm Michelle Kern and I work in the Belfast Trust. Love to get in contact with you, Kate, at some stage, because that sounds like something that we could develop further. And as a group consultant in Northern Ireland, I think it's Maureen Roberts is your consultant nurse for learning disability in the Southern Trust. But between us all, we could get together, and I know there's a lot of work being done in regards to sexual health and learning disability, which I am involved in. So I'll link in with you after this meeting, and we can talk more about that.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Excellent. Thank you. We've got lots of questions coming. We're moving to Anasia Nyadenga.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for the opportunity to ask my question. Thank you so much for bringing up this tool. Quite useful indeed. I'm a mom. I'm a nurse by profession. I'm also a mom with children with learning disabilities. I'm finding this tool will be quite useful, really. I was just wondering if there's a way that it can be rolled over to schools, because it might help some of the teachers or teaching assistants who are dealing with children with learning disabilities. Sometimes they have injuries, and then we get notes in the books in their bags that, oh, your child has had a bump and things like that, and they cannot really express themselves fully on what happened or how they are feeling. Maybe it could be a good way of screening when injuries or things like that. If they are ill health or when they are not well, they can use this tool really to assess. I was just wondering if they can be rolled over there and also get an input to support the staff over there. Thank you. I hope I've
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I totally understood you, and certainly from my own personal perspective, I can see that I would be pushing this and signposting my school to it. I didn't know if any of the panel wanted to add to or answer Anasia's question more formally.
Yeah, it's a good question, and this tool is really, I feel, really useful to work with children, and to teach them, the difference between urgent and emergency care, and I think that's what it's about. It's not really it wouldn't really be used as something that you would be assessing with, but it's more of an aid to allow young people to understand the difference between urgent and emergency care, and that we feel would be very useful as they move into adulthood and when they become more independent. So that would be a useful way of using it within children's services.
That's lovely, thank you. I've just noticed the time. We are 1:30, which I believe was nearing our cut-off time. We've got 2 questions waiting. Can I be cheeky and carry on with 2 questions from those that are? I'm going to just go with it. Can we have a question from Jade Pearson, and then we'll carry on with Sarah Prince-Beldam, and then maybe if anyone else wants to ask a question, put it in the chat and it can maybe be picked up afterwards if you add your contact details. Thanks, Jade.
Hello, thank you. Hi, for context, I'm an LD liaison nurse in the local acute trust. I noticed in the comments, but it was something I had picked up as well, is the bit about mental health. So often we advise our patients that we see maybe an ED that have come in with kind of experiencing unwell mental health. We'll often advise them to call 111 and option 2, because that's 24/7 mental health support. So I wondered if it'd be worth having that in there, so that 111 isn't solely for physical health.
Yeah, I'll take that question, Naomi.
Thank you.
Like. Yeah, so we did capture that as part of our review of services, that there was 111 and the option 2. So we have embedded that into the tool. So that obviously we didn't show you the whole tool today, but
Sorry, okay.
So we do recognise that it may have been a bit physical health heavy, but there is elements of mental health in there, and that option, because we picked that up, from our colleagues in Wales as well, around the 111 option 2 as well. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dale, and to Jade. We'll go to the last question, and then I don't want everyone to leave, because there's a lovely little opportunity at the end to potentially support the evaluation of it. But if we go forward with Sarah Prince-Beldam as the last question, any others can go in the chat with your contact details if Sarah's still here. Lovely. Are you there? Can't hear you at the minute, Sarah. Okay, while Sarah's working out the technology, maybe pop it in the chat, Sarah, if you're struggling. I will round up because we have come to the end of the session, and what an amazing session it has been. It certainly has gone quite quickly. As promised, it's time to share the details of how to take part in the UCAN evaluation and be in it with a chance of winning a £50 Love to Shop voucher. The evaluation questions will take no longer than 10 minutes of your time to complete, and at the end you would like for you to provide your details to be entered into the prize. You have to be quick. The closing date for this is the 15th of July, so 14 days away. You have to have completed it by 5 p.m. On the screen right now, there's a QR code and a link to take part, and the UCAN team will also be emailing everyone that attended today with the link as well, just in case those have left early. I would like to say thank you once again to the entire UCAN careLeD team for this tool launch event. And we've heard from other people within the room that have got children or friends, family with learning disabilities. A massive thank you on behalf of myself, and I'm sure Tommy Jessup as well. Okay, thank you.